If you want all of your data in one place, you need the Intuit ERP. I'm Damon John, and I run my growing business on Intuit Enterprise Suite. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
And now, a special edition of the Toddcast podcast.
Powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca.
Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
What do they say? If you can make it into your 20s, chances are you'll have less brushes with death. So I was almost hit by a train when I was like 9 or 10 years old, dicking around on the bridge, so close that I could feel the train's air rush by me as it goes by. I had to jump into a prickle bush to avoid this thing. I came face to face with a black bear, probably around the same age, maybe 11, and you could hear the hissing and the gurgling of this bear. It was so scary, and I was inches away from literally killing myself, like 15, 16 years old, riding a 10-speed bike with no brakes, of course, down a hill in Terrace, going 50, 60K. And at the end of because I'm going through people's yards and stuff, and at the end of the hill, I went over the handlebars. I flew 15, 20 feet, and I shoulder checked this telephone pole. I broke my collarbone to this day. I mean, it literally still affects me now. But the doctor at the time had said, move over a few inches and you'd be dead, or at least you'd probably wish that you were. And that's the thing. If you ask your friends and your family, your circle, about when they've had a brush with death, the majority, like 8 or 9 out of 10, will probably have a story to share. My name is Todd Hancock. This week, it's all about near-death stories. 12 guests in total, and you'll hear from this week's musical guests in just a second. Coming up shortly, and stop me if you've heard this before, retired UFC fighter CB Dollaway talks about when kids should be enrolling in martial arts. That is powered by our friends at FKP MMA. Learn self-defense, build your self-esteem, you meet new like-minded people and friends, you get fit. My kid Levi is becoming quite the little machine. He loves going. Mr. Franco and his team are the best at what they do. Come find out why. They are Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com. First, let's get to some of those near-death stories and some of our musical guests, all of whom are brought to you by Vibe Cave Studios in East Vancouver. If you're an artist who follows along or in a band that follows along, talk to Braden. If you have that song, but you just need that mix, Braden will make it happen for you. We've teamed up with them, first off, because of their catalog and their reputation. They work with all genres, but it's just fantastic. He does a great job. And I wanted to highlight a song that Braden did with Tisa Rahim called Dun Dun Dun.
Now I'm done needing you, well past halfway. I'm done needing you, hoping you would change. Who knew that the end of us would be the start of something great? You thought I was in it, now I'm done, done, done.
That's a great track, Tisa Rahim, and the song is called Dun Dun Dun. Huge mixes, killer sounds, great vibes. Have a boo at Braden's website. Again, it's vibecavestudios.com. So Dirty Honey has been around since 2017, although they didn't release their debut till March of 19. You saw their song, When I'm Gone, shoot to the top, #1 on Billboard's mainstream rock songs chart, which is huge considering indie band. They're easily in my underrated top 10 rock bands of the last decade list. They played shows with Guns N' Roses and Kiss, The Who, The Black Crowes. They've even played an NHL Winter Classic game. And when Dirty Honey singer Mark LaBelle was a guest in the early part of last year, of course, he shared a near-death story with us.
Oh, yeah, I got a good one for you. I won't say I should have died. I definitely could have died in a horrible death. But I was in the mountains. I was in Wyoming, and my buddy and I, we were trying to photograph. I love wildlife photography, so grizzly bears, wolves, moose, whatever. Mostly grizzly bears and wolves. And so it was actually during COVID. We were like looking to get out of the house. We go to, some of the national parks and buzz around that area. And obviously there's woodsy backcountry areas that aren't in the national parks, and you can see some stuff. So we go out into the backcountry, and we come across like a dead elk carcass, and there's just birds flying all over it. And that's usually a pretty good sign that like a wolf or like a grizz, something is coming to feed on it. So we like sit on it for like a day. We're just, keeping our distance, hoping something comes around, and we don't see anything. And, the next morning we wake up and I go and I'm like, I'm going to go check on the carcass, see if like something made on it overnight or whatever. And we parked probably 300 yards away from the kill site, we called it. Yep. And I'm walking towards this thing. I get like 50 yards away from it. And out of the corner of my eye, see 3 grizzly bears all on their hind legs looking at me walk towards their food. And I'm just like, holy shit. And you're not supposed to run. No. But what do? I was kind of in a position where I could see the bears, but my buddy who was back at our van couldn't. And I like turned back to him and I'm like, hey man, like grab the bear spray, grab the gun. And he's like, what? Couldn't hear me. Couldn't understand me.
Grab that shit.
I was like, grab a fucking bear spray. He's like, what? And I just, in a split second decision, just decided I'm bolting to this van, and hopefully they get the memo that something serious is going on. And they did. And they're like pointing at me laughing. And they're like, why is he running? And I like, when I got into earshot of them, I was like, fucking grizzly bears, like, let's go. And we jumped into a Jeep nearby, and we kind of like rode over there safely. And these bears just like chilled with us for like 35, 40 minutes. And we got to photograph them, got some amazing photos. But
wow.
Yeah, I was running like for my life.
Yeah, you don't mess
at least
with
they weren't chasing me, but
and their food.
Yeah, that's like they say that's like one of the 2 surefire ways like to get in a bad situation is like be in between a mother and their cubs, or be near a grizz while they're protecting a food source, and that's not good. So
I had a black bear chase me up in when I was living up in Terrace, northern BC, and it chased me for about 100 meters or so. But thankfully, I had probably about a 400 meter,
gap. Yeah.
Dude, man, my whole body, like even now telling the story, my whole, like every hair on my body was like,
yeah,
on end,
no,
man.
I'm sure.
I literally thought I was going to die.
Yeah. I was right there with you. I mean, 3 grizz, like, yeah, I got it. You don't have a chance against one,
No. And what do you do? Like if it were to catch you, is it like the grizzlies, are they like you ball up, or like what do you do for that?
You're supposed to just like cover the back of your neck, because they can't open their mouth too wide. They kind of have a pretty narrow gap. So I mean, like they're obviously going to maul you and claw you, and that's obviously not good. But
yeah,
I mean, you probably don't have a chance if you wind up in that situation, but
probably not.
You're supposed to just ball up, cover your neck, and hope for the best, and not run, because they immediately think you're prey. Wow. But yeah, that's not good. You're supposed to have bear spray on you, and I usually do, and I just didn't in that one like 90-second circumstance, and I never again will go anywhere without it.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it was wild.
Yep,
I got some good picks though. We got some good picks.
From an up-and-coming rock band and a great career thus far to a straight-up classic rock icon. You've heard George Thorogood's music on most North American classic rock radio stations since the early 90s. Over 20 albums released, over 15 million albums sold worldwide, performing for over 45 years, coming up on 50.
Yeah, I mean, you've been behind the wheel of an automobile a few times, haven't you?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's probably the most dangerous spot you're going to be in. Out on the freeway there. So just about every day you're risking it when you get in the car.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing I find funny, George, is people that go, well, I don't like flying. It's so unsafe. Dude, you get in your car every day and you drive with people that aren't necessarily watching, and they're freaking texting somebody as they're driving 90K.
Right. Well, the flying itself is safer. It's just everything you have to go through. You have to go through the customs and security, and you got to drive down there. I think that's the part of it that people are hassled about.
Yeah.
But it's much safer in the air than it is on the ground.
We'll transition now from a classic rock icon to one of the most influential metal drummers of all time. Late Pantera, Damage Plan, and Hell Yeah drummer Vinnie Paul, who we were lucky enough to get on the phone only a few months before he passed.
Many times, man. Really been shocked. Things like that. They definitely petrify you and really make you take a minute to take it all in and appreciate it. And life's too short for sure. We all know this, and we got to enjoy it, man. It really is a beautiful thing.
And the weird thing about when times like that in your life, it almost seems like time slows down.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Just comes to a standstill, yep.
And from one of the late Abbott brothers to multiple Grammy-nominated K-Flay and her fiery near-death story.
Yeah, actually, right where I am, my parents' house, like a year and a half ago, I was visiting on tour. I was here for a couple days in between shows, and there was a fire. And we had to escape. It was crazy.
Wow.
In the middle of the night. Yeah. A battery exploded, and I heard it explode, and I ran into the living room, and everything was in flames.
Holy shit.
It was fucking insane. It was actually
So what did you do? What
So I went into my parents' room, and my dad had just had surgery a day before. That's why I was visiting, and it was we got to get out. There's a fire.
Holy
and it started filling up the amount of smoke that happens. It's so everything's happening so quickly. It's crazy. I had never been in a fire before or anything like that. And yeah, we got out safely, and the fire department came and hosed everything down and essentially destroyed their place with water and smoke. The smoke and water did all this crazy damage, but luckily we were all okay and we got out, but it was totally surreal. I was actually thinking about it last night. And then my parents had to live in this temporary
and everything and
apartment for a really long time. And anyway,
wow.
But dude, it was fucking, I'm sorry
scary shit.
If I can swear. It was
yeah, it's scary.
It was very scary.
Toddcast podcast musical guest visits are powered by Vibe Cave Studios in East Vancouver. Huge mixes, killer sounds, great vibes. Visit them at vibecavestudios.com.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to do yet. Please don't come close, just give me some room, yeah. 'Cause I don't need sympathy, I just need a melody. Why? I think I might break down. It doesn't even seem like these people hear the same sounds. I think I might break free and finally figure out what the hell it is I'm supposed to be. I think I might break through and start living my life like it's more than just something to do. And once I get my brain free, I find out what it means to me. 'Cause I don't even know what I'm supposed to do yet. Please don't come close, just give some room, yeah. I don't need sympathy, I just need a melody. Don't even know what I'm supposed to say yet. Please don't come close or get in my way yet. Cause you don't feel the things I feel, and I don't feel the things you feel.
Now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
Even if you're not a fan of fighting, MMA, Bellator, the UFC, you know the names and the brands, the organizations. At this point, they are household names. And as a big fan of the sport, we do our best to talk to fighters on a relatively regular basis, at least once or twice a year kind of thing. Former UFC light heavyweight fighter CB Dollaway was a guest in year 3 of this podcast, so years back now, talking about all things fight, of course. John Jones testing positive for steroids at the time. Medical marijuana and CBDs came up. Same for the shows that he was binge watching. Talked about family, his first pro fight. And stop me if you've heard this before. CB talked about when he thought that parents should enroll kids into MMA.
I think you give them till about age 4,
okay,
4 or 5, before you start introducing them to some stuff. That's what we did at our gym, mandatory 4 years old before the kids could start, doing the kids' classes. Yeah, I think it's great. Maybe stay away from the full contact kickboxing and boxing, but get them into like a grappling technique, or like a jiu-jitsu or wrestling or something like that, or pancration. Just where they're not getting hit in the head at a young age. I wouldn't recommend that.
Right.
Save that for later when they decide, it's something they really, really want to do.
Okay.
But, you got to keep your body fresh. You only have so many years in a sport, per se. So no reason to be taking punches to the head when you're 5 years old or 6 years old.
Unless it's your older brother.
You can, yeah. Even then,
Even then.
Stop Me If You've Heard This Before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com.
I got a rose for you. See how it shines bright blue, smelling of sweet peas and honeydew. Watch how it stays forever new. And I got this bow in my hair, keeping my eyes clear to see you there. Wandering towards me, you forwardly meet my stay. Where should we go now? I'm thinking hitching a ride out of town, searching for spots that don't wanna be found, feeling a warm breeze out over me until we wanna leave. voice so true, yeah, yeah, telling me tales of a privileged youth, searching for sweet tea and better views. So where should we go now? Where should we go now? I'm thinking hitching a ride down uptown, searching for spots that don't wanna be found, feeling a warm breeze all over me until we wanna leave. I got a rose for you. Go on, see how it shines now. I'm thinking hitching a ride out of town, searching for spots that don't wanna be found, feeling a warm breeze. I'm thinking hitching a ride out of town, searching for spots that don't wanna be found, yeah, feeling a warm breeze all over me until we wanna leave, till we wanna leave, sitting till we wanna leave, till we wanna leave, yeah.
I cannot wait for her night with us, and it is creeping up. Her name is Emily Chambers, and that's an older track for her. It's one of my favorites from her catalog. It's called Until We Want to Leave. And yes, you can bet I will be steering her into hopefully playing that song at our show this Saturday. So May 20th at Blue Light Studio in East Vancouver. The doors open at 7 o'clock. The show goes from about 8 till 10-ish, something like that. But Emily, if you know, she used to live in Vancouver, but now she's living in Nashville. So she's played for us in the past, years back now, but she's good to go. Effortless. I mean, talking effortless in her execution. And she's, as mentioned, she's burning up from Nashville to play this show. It's a full band. It's a couple sets. And the first one is kind of more the Q&A style where I'll interview the band. You get to ask questions as well. The second is kind of more of a quick intro. Hey, thanks for coming, everyone. She'll bang off a 40, 45-minute set kind of thing. And then we'll, excuse me, and then we'll wrap it up, a few post drinks or what have you. So really hope you can make it out to this one. This is the only time she's playing, by the way, I think, when she comes up from Nashville. I played you something new for Matt Storm, and he's the guy that played with Ivan Hartle at our Blue Light sessions just, I guess, a couple months back now. If you went to that, I mean, really dig Matt's stuff as well, and we kind of kept the conversation on Ivan that night, but I would love to get Matt maybe front and center and get some stories out of him as well, and maybe we'll dial something up with him down the road. At this point, our live show schedule, by the way, is filled up all the way through November, so we're trying to stay on top of things, and we did apply to get a grant through Creative BC as well, and this is the first time for us in 9 years doing that, and kind of and people are like, why'd you take so long? My line of thought for that was that, this podcast is making money through sponsors. That's how we're doing it. We're keeping things rolling that way. Kind of leave the grants to up and coming, podcasters who can't maybe necessarily get sponsors, don't know how, or maybe it's whatever the case is. And the deeper that I get into this podcasting game, to quote Morgan Wallen, I'll take all the help that I can get. So hopefully we can get some government love as well, which in turn, of course, would give more love to the bands that we're working with at Blue Light Studio. It's a win. win-win for Blue Light, for the podcast, for the artist or the bands we're working with. And we'll all make a little bit more money, a little more side scratch, and keep that big machine rolling. And boy, aren't we getting concert weather these last couple of weeks, feeling more and more like summer. She is just around the corner. And the family's countdown, we're heading to Tofino again this year, has been ticking away for, I guess, about a month and a half now. The boys been every day pretty much. We're going on for 12 days this year, which is big for us. Normally we're like a 8, 9, maybe 10 at the very most kind of thing. And you know how it is on the 7 or 8 day vacation. Maybe you're midpoint and it's like day 4 or day 5 and you're kind of already emotionally, going home. You're like, oh man, we're only a couple more 2-3 days here. Well, this time I don't want it to get to that point until about maybe like day 9 or day 10. That will be nice. But yeah, we stay at Ocean Village Resort, which is right on Mackenzie Beach. And I don't know what heaven looks like or if it even exists, but if it does, it's on those shores. This is our 9th year in a row. There's a reason why we're going back to the same place. At this point, Dina and her team have seen my 2 little boys grow from 1 and 3-year-olds to 10 and 12. Well, I was going to say 12, but actually it's going to be 13 by the time we get there. That's crazy, right? Like they've seen my kids grow from little kids to teenagers. I can't tell you how much I look forward to going over there and just turning off the batteries and no interviews, little to no social media work, and just day drinking and crab hunting and nature hikes and building like the biggest castles on the beach. And we usually bang off a car every year and they're always fun. And you get like car the size of like we can all sit in it. That's how big these castles are. We did Ogopogo one year, which is kind of fun. You're snuggled up in these little A-frame cabins and feet in the sand and the ocean, and you almost hesitate to even mention Ocean Village Resort. It's that, you find it, you want it for you and only you, but we're good friends, so I guess I'll share. All right, coming up in just a few minutes in Listen to This, Cancer Bats drummer Mike Peters talking about playing Hellfest for like 15, 20,000 people and how it's likely his career highlight. That is powered by 6-year sponsor Tedco RV Supplies in Langley. RV services and repairs, ICBC accredited. Check, check, check. It's all good things. You can find them on Facebook and on Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies. First, more near-death stories, and this time from some of our past sporting guests, all of whom are powered by Hand Over Hand Textiles in Vancouver. Naturally dyed goods for your home and for your body. Shirts and bandanas and socks and dishcloths and scarves and pillows. And what are those things that Fred wore on Scooby-Doo? What are they called again? Do you remember? Is it Ascot? I think it's Ascot, right? They have those things as well. You'll love their work, and you'll love to know that they only use pure plant extracts, natural fibers. Mother Earth loves them. Locally owned, locally operated. Find them through handoverhandtextiles.com. They're also on Instagram as well. So UFC fighter Aljamain Funkmaster Sterling has been fighting professionally since 2011, starting off in Cage Fury Fighting Championships, where he won and defended the Bantamweight Championship. It wasn't long before you saw him move up to the UFC, where he is the current Bantamweight champ.
Man, I was actually talking about this the other day. This the main one. I mean, there's been some shootouts and stuff like that, but I think I don't want to say far enough from the action, but because I guess bullets don't have names on them, is what we used to say growing up. I've been to a couple parties, but I would like to think that being on the other side of the room might have protected me because a lot of people were in front of me. But I've actually had experiences. What's it called? The Adirondack, the high peaks. I remember one time the professor that was with us in our group, they're not like supposed to intervene with us. They're supposed to just be the supervisor and make sure everything is okay. But we had a girl that ended up spraining her ankle trying to do what all the boys were doing and trying to climb the mountains and the high peaks as fast as we were doing it. And she ended up hurting herself. Mm-hmm. Long story short, the professor kind of disappeared in the middle of the night, and then the next day, we were in the high peaks, and mind you, when we're in there, we had to take a backpack. This is part of our curriculum for physical education towards your senior year. I guess it's kind of smart to wait till you're a senior to have kids doing stuff like this on their own. And you pack your backpacks with all the equipment and things, food and amount of stuff that you feel you're going to need in order to survive that 1 week in the wilderness.
Wow.
And everyone's got to take something, So if you don't bring enough food or water there or stuff to help iodine for water, then you're pretty much going to have some near starving or things like that. It's just pretty survival of it's like a competition, but it's not a competition. It's just teaching you how to survive, and it was cool but scary at the same time as being a kid. But the professor left in the middle of the night. The next day we wake up and we're all debating whether or not we should go out, and the boys are kind of like, well, we kind of want to climb the peaks, and the girls are like, no, we kind of want to just hang out. Let's just hang out here and kind of just party a little bit, kind of enjoy the day and enjoy the sun. And sure enough, the boys decided to leave. We're like, all right, we'll be back in like 2 hours. We go try to climb these 2 high peaks that were nearby. We follow the trail. We take our papers with us, our maps. And we get to this one, I forget what it was called, but it gets to the point where it's so incline, like the incline is so crazy, so steep. They have these iron like rods like embedded into the rocks. And then there's these like ropes that propel from the hooks. So you have to climb like with the backpack sideways, and you're going up.
Wow.
And guess out of nowhere, it starts pouring, but it was raining before we even got to the top, but we didn't think the top part was going to be like that. So when we get to the top, we're climbing the rocks, and then it automatically just like suddenly just changes like the status of the rocks, and we start climbing, and it was the scariest thing because I'm over here thinking, dude, if I lose my grip on this, I am done. I'm out for the count. This is not the way I imagined going out.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's a crazy downpour. We managed to get to the top, and then after that, instead of climbing the second high peak, I told the guys, like, listen, man, we got to go back because that was the scariest and most traumatic thing I've ever had. I think I've ever had happen to me. Like, I felt like I was legit staring death in the face because it was like this rubber thing. I don't know exactly what it was. Maybe it was like polyester or something, but I mean, they did a good job anchoring it into the mountain, but man, at such an angle where if you slip, you're pretty much done. I was like, I think I had enough, especially in the rain. If it was dry, it wouldn't be a problem, but I'm over here pissing my pants thinking like, dude, I might slip, and this is, I don't know. I try not to look down. It was pretty scary. That was an interesting trip, and
yeah, man,
definitely eye-opening.
From a UFC fighter to a pro golfer, a sport that can be super, super frustrating and addicting when you're nailing those shots. Carly Booth has won multiple tournaments in the Ladies European Tour and talked about near-death stories.
Touch wood, I've not been in any kind of bad accidents or anything, but I would say one time where the plane had extremely bad turbulence, and you can see the thunder and the lightning outside as well. I think that was pretty scary.
Yeah.
Because it felt like the plane was going to go down.
I know, I've had those rides before too, where you drop like 30, 40 feet, and it's like people, if they're not buckled in, they're hitting the top of the plane,
It was brutal.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one time I've ever felt quite scared.
As we transition from a pro golfer to one of the best drag racers ever, NHRA champ Del Worsham has been at it since 1990. He was the youngest driver to win a funny car event at just 21 years old. This was back in 1991. He has 33 career victories, 8 in the Top Fuel Series, 25 in the Funny Car Series. He's only the third driver to win championships in both Top Fuel and Funny Car. Just a monster in the NHRA.
Yeah, racing. Actually, I've had 2 of them.
Yeah.
In 1994, car burst into flames, caught on fire, was going fast, pulled parachutes, no parachutes, just ripping down there in 1994. And I can remember just getting so hot and burned and covering up my face with my hand. And I ended up spending 21 nights in the burn center for skin grafts. And at that time, I wasn't really sure. You know, I kind of got through that, but I remember that night I had a horrid nightmare, and I remember the car blowing up in the nightmare and just like losing my breath and not knowing if I was alive or dead. Just the first night in the hospital. After that, it never happened again. But that first night, it was scary. I remember waking up in New Jersey, just not knowing what happened, not even sure if I'm alive or dead.
That's crazy. So the parachutes don't pull, then like what are you just riding out 300 miles an hour, burning up?
The fire burned them off. The car was going down pretty fast. It just kept going and going. And this is before your safety equipment was pretty, it wasn't in advanced stages we're at now. So we didn't have like these fresh air breathing systems, and the Nomex suits weren't as good. Nothing was as good. And I was just basically just getting burned and cooked alive in there. And the car was fast, and I could feel that. And I knew it was moving, and I couldn't see. And I had to hold my breath, and finally jumped out. And I remember not being able to get my helmet off. And it's because my hands were just burned up. You know, my hands were just, it had blown the gloves open and just passing out and waking up in a helicopter, and it was a big mess.
Crazy.
That was one. And then another time in the funny car, again, parachutes couldn't get them deployed because they blew too high up in the air and I couldn't reach the levers. I'm flipping end over all the safety nets. And when the car finally came to a stop, I thought it was blind. I'm sitting there, you know, and like everything's just black, you know, and I don't really know where I am. And I kind of reached down, and I could feel my legs, and then I flipped up my visor, and it was just full of sand, and I could see, and I looked down at legs, and I just undid myself and just took off running, man, and it took them a while to find me, and I was hiding in a van. I must have had a concussion at that point.
Holy shit.
So those are the two times. But really, in 30 years of racing, that's not bad.
And from a champion drag racer to a former Bellator MMA ring card girl, Mercedes Terrell now hosts the Mercedes and the Chap show, and she shared a near-death story when she was a guest.
I have had, let me give you two different.
Okay.
So one's like, start with the more mild, but interesting, and I don't know, to my mind.
Okay.
So once I was driving, and my boyfriend at the time, I was a lot younger, and we were in my car. Unfortunately, it was my car because the story doesn't end well for the car. Mm-hmm. And a drink spilled down like the center divider, and we both went to grab the drink at the same time, and he's driving and I'm in the passenger seat. And as we grabbed the drink, the person in front of us, you know, stopped. Everybody in front stopped basically, and we did not see that, or he did not see that. And so he didn't stop. So we went, and we weren't going fast. We were not in like maybe 20 miles per hour or something, not even fast at all. But so we hit the back of the car in front of us without any brakes on. And so the airbag deployed, but remember, I'm leaning down in front of my dash in order to grab the drink. So my face is directly in front of the airbag mechanism. And that's the last thing I remember. And then I woke up with this ringing in my ear that was so loud I couldn't hear anything except for just the ring. And
wow.
And as I opened my eyes, and so I'm laying on the center console of the car, and as I open my eyes slowly, I see just white, because the dust you have to think of from the airbag, there's like a powder in there, and it releases the powder when it comes out. Wow. So now it's just white and ringing, and I'm laying on this, on this thing, and I'm becoming conscious again. And as I look over, or I don't look over, I didn't even move my head, because I knew the last thing I remembered was that I was in the car. And then now here I am laying on the side. Everything's powdery, smoky looking. It looked like smoke.
Wow.
And my ear's ringing. I can't hear anything. And I see my boyfriend's hand on the front console, and it's just sitting there still. And so now I'm super afraid to look up that he's going to be dead or something, right. He's going to be messed up. And now I'm realizing I was in a car accident. And of course, he said, "Are you okay?" And then I was like, "Oh, thank God, he's alive."
Right, now I can look.
But he did crack the windshield with his head, but I got knocked out, obviously, by the airbag, and I was fine. I mean, I didn't even need to go to I didn't do anything, go to the doctor. I just scraped on my knee, like really nothing. But that was interesting, just like how my brain perceived coming out of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then the other thing was, like I said, I fly a lot, so it's going to be a plane story. Sorry if anyone's got upcoming flights. Sorry in advance. But I was on a flight just to Tampa, so from California to Tampa, Florida, and we were going over some really stormy weather that day, and the pilot had, said we might hit some turbulence, whatever. But then the seatbelt signs went off. We seemed to be in really smooth air for hours, we were. And so everybody was kind of like unbuckled. There's people in the bathroom. Actually, my seat, I remember, was directly behind the Delta plane. So they have the bathrooms on the big planes. They have a bathroom in the middle.
Okay.
And I was directly behind that bathroom. So I could see there was a mom and her smaller child standing outside the bathroom, and her other daughter was in the bathroom using it. So I was standing there waiting for her. I'm in my seat. My seatbelt is buckled, but it's like super loose, like so I can move around, like super loose. Mm-hmm. And I don't do that anymore. I learned that lesson. But most people are like not even buckled in. And so here we are cruising along, seatbelt sign is off, and suddenly the plane like jolts to the right, like boom, and it kind of like even made a sound like boom, and everyone went, and before you could even react to it, it dropped like 200 feet, just like boom, like really sudden drop, like it pushed the plane down. And as it dropped, I remember watching the little girl and the mom hit the ceiling, of the plane, and then I could hear the little girl inside screaming. And, of course, everything on the plane went up, in the air. Everything, all the sodas and all the things in the back pockets and all the lap babies hit the ceiling, and all the people sitting without seatbelts hit the ceiling. And I had a seatbelt on, so I rose out of my seat by about a foot, and I could feel my top of my hair like brushing the top, the ceiling.
Where you push the air and all that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. and we dropped for long enough that I remember, like I said a couple words, and I remember like thinking, oh fuck, this is where I'm gonna die.
Red Truck Beer, delivered fresh, the official beer of the Toddcast podcast.
Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Cancer Bats formed in 2006, a band from Toronto. They're 7 albums in, 6 EPs deep, and are arguably Canada's best hardcore punk bands. Love these guys. You can call them what you like. Hardcore punk, sludge metal, metalcore. Without question, though, is you have to recognize that they are one of the country's most crushing bands, period. And they have the confidence of their counterparts as well. Check this out. George and Wade from Alexis on Fire have sung on Cancer Bats albums. Ben from Billy Talent, Tim from Rise Against, and their drummer Mike Peters was a guest right around the time that they released The Spark That Moves back in 2018, and we covered a lot of ground, talking about comic book superheroes, aliens visiting Earth, binging Brooklyn 99. He shared a near-death story. He shared his thoughts on legalized marijuana. We talked about the Motley Crue movie, The Doors, and CCR. And Mike talked about his career highlight up until that point. Now keep in mind, this is mid-year 2018. Listen to this.
I can't, it's tough to name one, but off the top of my head, like we just played Hellfest in France.
Yeah.
And it was the second time we played Hellfest. And we were playing up against, like Testament was playing on the main stage, you know, and it was like it blew my mind by like tenfold. Like how many people were watching us,
no shit,
and how crazy the show was.
How many people do you think were watching?
I'm gonna say like between 15 and 20,000 people.
Wow.
And just like it was the whole area. Like, and it's like I don't know if you've seen many pictures from Hellfest.
Yeah, dude. I watched a lot of. They were streaming it online.
Yeah. Like the whole area is so cool. It's unbelievable. We played this stage called the War Zone.
That's the one in France, right? Because there's multiple Hellfests. Is there not? I think there.
Well, there was. It originally started in Syracuse, and then I think the one in France bought the name or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And just took it from being
they're killing it now.
It's unbelievable. Like it is. If I would suggest, if anyone can go to a festival,
really
go to Hellfest.
Wow.
It's like the heavy metal Disneyland. Like it's crazy,
insane.
So what I've heard about the festival is that they actually own the land that they do it on.
Right.
So like the fencing like around the festival area is like bombed out looking steel fences with like the Hellfest logo stamped through it, and like and it shoots pyro at night. It gets dark, and then the fence around the festival shoots fire.
Wow.
And then like all the bars that they have on the ground, like once it got dark, they started shooting pyro at the top of them. This is nuts. It feels like you're going into like the Dusk from Dawn bar where there's all the fire coming up along the sides.
Yeah.
It was nuts. And then like it's just everything's cool. Like
That's
there's
crazy.
huge, there's like a 30-foot Lemmy statue, and like you know, there's just like all this stuff. And then like our whole area is like the War Zone. It's got all these cool, like it was so cool. And you're looking out at this huge, you're going to set up, and there's no one there. And then 5 minutes before you go on, you look out, and there's 10,000 or more people, and you're just like, what? And,
just happened?
And like Clutch is playing on one stage. You can hear them.
I fucking love Clutch, dude. Wow.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Clutch
so
is
it's like
such a
I'm
red
getting ready to go, and Clutch is doing. You can hear them from the other stage, and so like everybody's watching Clutch, and then they run over and watch us. Like it was crazy.
Wow.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies.
So you got producer likes you best. This is not the time for you to rest. You can't let the other girls down, no matter what it takes. This is your big break. You've got to stay away. 1, 2, 3, stretch. Put your mind to it. 1, 2, 3, stretch. Go out and break a sweat. 1, 2, 3, stretch. Put your mind to it. 1, 2, 3, stretch. You ain't seen nothing yet. You can't lay your pretty face down, no matter what it takes. Your future is at stake. You've got to stay awake.
They've played a show for the podcast pre-pandemic and absolutely rule. The band is called You Big Idiot. Jesse's song and a killer band. Yeah, as mentioned, they played for the podcast pre-COVID. Just a super fun live band, but deadly players, fun songs, and you are less than, 2 weeks away from their Waldorf show here in Vancouver. 10 days, in fact. On Friday, May 26th, You Big Idiot with The Core, Seth Anderson, and Jesse Labarde. It's $15 in advance. It's $20 at the door, which I guess kind of seems about usual now, hey? And why not, though? Like, if Aerosmith and the Black Crowes are charging $600 to see them, then perhaps we can fork over $20-$30 to see a friend's band play, right? Next Friday at the Waldorf, it's going to be a great night. I will be there. Hopefully see you there. I played you a new song for the post-war. This one's called Witness, and here's a Vancouver band who has consistently released big songs over the last decade. Again, all great players. If you hear of them playing anywhere near you, make the effort to see the post-war. Speaking of live music and that indie scene, there's a small list of shows, of course, beyond our shows that we do at Blue Light, but we want to make sure that you're in the know about the shows you should be checking out here in Vancouver. So see the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. If you're playing one or if you're checking it out, if it's indie, let us know about it and we'll post it up at the website, all right? Okay, our final guest of episode 304 is at 304. Some near-death stories from this week's entertainment and lifestyle guests, all of whom are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Beyond that, get oils and hash and all kinds of edibles and peyote and DMT and a whole bunch more. Here's what you need to do. At registry, mention that you heard about them, sacredmeds.com. You heard about them through this podcast. That will instantly upgrade your account. All right? So sacredmeds.com. You will best know Carrie Duber as alum for the reality TV show Real Housewives of Dallas.
Yeah, I haven't seen the light. I have been there when people have, because I'm a nurse and I used to do trauma and vascular. So that was, I've seen that happen to people. But I will say, I do remember, and this is like very random story. I was in Lake Erie when I lived in Ohio, or as my grandma used to say, Ohio. And I got caught in like a wave, and I was a little kid, and I got like tumbled, and I literally thought I was going to die. I still remember it to this day. That was my near death, but I didn't, see the angels in the light or anything. I just thought I was going to die.
From a former reality TV star to a near-death story from a love and libido expert, Dr. Emily Jamea.
So I was, I think I was like 13 or 14. And I was living in Tennessee at the time, and I was supposed to fly to Houston, where I now live, which is where a lot of my extended family lives. And we get to the airport, and I'm having this like pain in my chest. Now, granted, I'm like 13, 14 years old, so it's not like my parents were that worried about it. They said, maybe it's just some indigestion, take some Tums or whatever. But I just was not feeling right at all. And I finally said, I'm not comfortable going. I was supposed to fly with my cousin. We were going to fly alone, I think. I said, I don't want to go. Something is wrong. So I didn't go. And my parents took me to the doctor, and it turned out I had, it's called like a pneumomediastinum, which is where somehow it could have been just like an overstrain. Maybe I lifted something too heavy, but like a little hole forms between your lungs and your heart. And so air was like leaking out of my lungs into the sac around my heart. And the doctor said that if I had flown on the descent, there's a chance that there could have been like a major health complication, like a stroke or something like that. And so it was just kind of one of those always listen to your body kinds of situations.
Isn't that like incredible that at
I
a
know.
teenager you're like,
yeah, I was like, no,
this
not
is
going to
off.
do it. Yep. So I'm thankful my parents didn't like push me too hard. And
Wow.
you know, it's one of the things that just heals by itself. And I'm totally fine now, but that could have been scary.
And we'll transition from a therapist and a love expert to a model who's been doing it since her teens and recently deciding to pose topless. Pentos Pet of the Month, September 21. Carolina White shared a near-death story when she was a guest.
Oh, I probably have a million of those back from when I was a teenager, like drinking, you know, like
In a field, blacking out.
drinking like just straight, you know, Everclear in a field when it's like 32 degrees outside and I'm like wearing a dress and a tank top and shit. There's definitely been times that I've been so hungover that I thought I was definitely like the Grim Reaper standing over my shoulder.
Yeah,
like
or wanted to die.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like I remember a time I was in Vegas. I'm not a Vegas person. I'm the person Vegas will chew me up and spit me right back out.
Yeah.
I remember being in Vegas. I was working SEMA, which is a car show that they do every year. I went out with my girlfriend and we had a little too much fun. And I was an idiot and I mixed red wine and tequila. Who does that? Like, what adult person does that?
Yeah.
And have you ever been so hungover you wake up the next day and you're just like full of anxiety for no fucking reason? Like you're just like, I'm like shaking, like I got to get out of here. It's like a panic feeling. That's where I was at. So I went ahead and like bought myself, I flew home a day early. So the flight home from Vegas back to North Carolina, where I was living at the time, which is like a 5 or 6 hour flight in a middle seat. That literally felt like a near-death experience because I didn't know if I was going to make it. It's a lot of like deep breathing exercises and meditating because it's brutal.
And from a penthouse pet to a former star of This Hour Has 22 Minutes. You'll also know him from the kids show Brainwash. He's been featured many times on Just for Laughs. He was a star of Cedric the Entertainer Presents. Listen to actor, comedian Sean Majumder share his story.
No, there have been 2 times where I realize if you play it back in your head, inches could have made the difference. One time I was driving on the 401 going north in Ontario and heading to Barrie. Just in my car, a van in front of me, all that happened was their spare tire. It might have been an RV or something, but their spare tire underneath the thing came loose, and it just came loose, and it hit the cement, started flopping around like a donut, but then it got vertical on its axis, and it flew into the air, bounced right in front of my Hyundai Stellar, dead center of the car, and then over the car behind me. You know what I mean? So that could have been dead in my center of my window, and I probably would have been dead.
That could have been a dicey situation for sure.
I was heading to Alert up in the Arctic in the North Pole with the military. We were going to do a show there, and basically we left Goose Bay and we were flying up to Alert, and I noticed the air crew were all starting to freak out a little bit. They were chirping at each other. They were like pointing. They didn't, and we were supposed to be landing in about 20 minutes. And anyway, 2 hours later, it turns out we were still flying around circling the Arctic in the middle of December. The landing gear wouldn't go down and hold. Apparently there's a couple nuts and bolts. Something happened. One of the gear thingies, I'm not a mechanic. Don't judge me. One of the gear thingies wouldn't engage, and it wouldn't stay down. So they were like, holy smokes, what are we going to do? So these amazing crew, our military is the best military in the world. These guys were trained basically because it wouldn't go down. They MacGyvered something into one of the chummies to make the thing not do the thing that it was supposed to do. And then we went back to Thule, Greenland, and we landed there, and we were stuck there for 4 days. But while flying over, realizing this could go bad, like we could crash, this could go, I'm looking around the plane going, who's the fattest? Who am I going to eat if we have to, if we're stranded here in the Arctic? But those two are my
tastiest. Best use of MacGyvered in a long time.
Right. You don't hear that with the Canadian military and alert of the Arctic very often.
Entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Visit sacredmeds.com and mention you heard about them through the podcast to open up a hidden category on their website.
I was fortunate enough to rip over to their drummer's place and smoke a couple of J's listening to the new album. It's soon to be released from the new album called 4. That is Dead Quiet, and a new song for them. It's called The Hanging Man. I believe the album is coming out in June. Unfortunately, I had to miss their show just a few weeks back. They played here in East Vancouver at Green Auto, which was unfortunately the same night that we were doing our show with Joan Bessie and Jennifer Hirschman. And it's not like I could have, deked over, checked out Dead Quiet, although, the venues are quite literally across from each other. They're some back alley loving here in East Van, but Dead Quiet, an apropos way of wrapping up a near-death podcast, episode 304. Thanks, of course, to all of the guests this week for sharing their stories, for being a guest when we originally booked them. My name is Todd Hancock. Once again, thank you so much for listening. If it's something that you can get into on a week-to-week basis, maybe you might want to subscribe. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, comment and rate the podcast. It helps out with the search results. Of course, Toddcast Podcast. And please tell your friends about us if they listen to podcasts as well. Word of mouth and sharing on social media is huge for us, and we see it daily. So thank you so much for that. Huge thanks, of course, to our stellar sponsors. You can find lists to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast with your business, you can for as little as $10 a day. Contact info is at the homepage. If you help us find a sponsor, keep this in mind, we'll give you a commission. Make some scratch. Like, why not, right? All right, so till next time, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard, and most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast Podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
Reality TV is messy.
Pop culture is louder than ever.
And the internet
completely unhinged.
Welcome to Roxanne
and Chantel,
the podcast where cousins Roxanne and Chantel break down reality TV, celebrity drama, and the stories everyone's texting about.
We recap the shows,
spill the headlines,
and sit down with the stars themselves.
No filter,
no boring takes,
just the tea.
New episodes every week.
If it's trending,
we're talking about it.
This is Roxanne
and Chantel.
Let's get into it.
The Tudors were probably the most scandalous dynasty in British history. This season on Vulgar History, we're spilling the tea on this messy, messed up family and the people who had to live through it all. Anne Boleyn and the other wives of Henry VIII are known today from the musical Six, but who were they really? Did any of them actually want to marry him? Henry VIII, the man who was literally the worst? How did two of them manage to escape with their heads intact? We'll also get into historical mysteries, like who really wrote Shakespeare's plays, who was the real Bloody Mary, and what was happening elsewhere in the world while the Tudors were trampling all over England, like the mysterious disappearance of the Roanoke colony and the true story of the girl known as Pocahontas. I'll be joined by Tudor historians, experts, and a few of my friends who really hate Henry VIII to learn all about the Tudors this season on Vulgar History. Because it's Henry VIII all day, every day. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts.
Goodbye, Kyle!
Did the sound of those words call to you like Pavlov's dog? Then you might enjoy our podcast, Turtle Time.
Every week, you can join me, Riley Hamilton, and my co-host, Amy Scarlotta, as we cover the most pressing Bravo news and dig into the new episodes to answer important questions like, who the hell is Adrian Malouf in this world?
Listen to Turtle Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday.